We'll call the meeting to order at 5:04. Just a reminder for public comment this evening, if you'd like to make a public comment, please send an email following our public comment policies and rules to superintendent@stgrsd.org, and they will be read during the meeting. Okay, so in your packets, you should have received a secretary's report dated 5/21/2020. I'll entertain a motion to accept those meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Pam?
Yes.
Chelsea?
Yes.
Ted?
Yes.
Jess?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Jeff is a yes. Motion passes 6-0-0. This afternoon, Amy sent out a request for signatures in an email for warrants. If you could please sign those and get them back to her electronically. Be very helpful. Moving on to correspondence.
We have received an email dated May 26, 2020 from Carl Steinhardt requesting Jeff Houle, Chairman Houle, to sign the motocross land lease license renewal. And we'll be making an action item on that later tonight.
This is a 3-year renewal, correct?
Correct.
Okay, moving on. It's time for our first public comment. I'll ask Amy to check the tenant email address.
Yes, Chairman Houle, I do have a public comment submitted through the email.
Okay.
The public comment is from Veronica Lynn Stratton, West Heartland Road in Granville, Mass. And her email says, "Hi, this might be too late for the meeting tonight. I saw that there is an increase in lunch prices. Does this mean our kids will get better quality lunches as well as fresh fruits, vegetables, and salads offered? My son is in high school and the $3.50 lunch is hardly a meal. Please consider the price increase to have healthier lunches and breakfasts with more food. Thank you." And that is the only public comment that we have.
Okay, move on to the next section. It's time for the student advisory report. Looks like we have a student tonight.
Good evening. This past Friday was our senior sign out, which went absolutely, beautifully. It was really quick, really easy. It was super nice to see some of our guidance counselors, our administration, and our class advisors. We had everyone in the class show up except for 4, and of those 4, most of them called ahead saying that there was work inconveniences, but they were able to get whatever they needed, whether it be caps and gowns, and give their books and back and whatnot. It went so well that for next year, the thought process is that this might be the new formatting for sign out, instead of having people come into the cafeteria with every single student all at once trying to hand in, everything from each class, along with receiving their caps and gowns and other graduation accessories. So it was really nice to just be able to have something new, but it worked so very well. In the afternoon, as many of you know, we had our senior drive around, which was absolutely incredible. I don't know about others, but it brought me to tears. Seeing the entire community out together in each town and being able to see past teachers and present ones, it really just proves how incredible our district is and that it's really one of a kind. And having a smaller school, often people think that comes with its challenges, and I think it comes with many more benefits than it does problems. I'd like to thank my class advisors, Ms. Hitchcock and Ms. Pomeroy, for how much they pushed for this and how much they've done for us during this time. It's really difficult to reach out when you're at home, and they've just, taken their job to heart and have done it, without any complaint, and they're just absolutely incredible. Same goes for Mrs. Penland, who is an advisor for the class below us, along with the sophomore class, who has just, been one of our biggest advocates during this entire time. The Southwick, Tall, and Granville police and fire departments were so supportive, and their salute at the end of the sign out, or the end of the drive around, again, my second tier of the day for that, because it was a beautiful sight to see, and really meaningful and really impactful, and a great reminder of how to really come together during these really tough times. So I really have to thank them for all of that and their hard work, and just, we really do have an incredible community throughout these 3 towns. For our senior class, the next plan is to work on graduation. After the news from the state, we have rescheduled our tentative plan from June 20th to July 25th, which opens new opportunities for us and gives us, a more solidified plan, and gives us plenty of time to work on any extra details that we need for our graduation. So I'm very excited to work on that, and very excited to be able to provide for our classmates, something that's not quite exactly what is the typical graduation, but pretty close. And, it'll be special nonetheless. I'd like to thank everyone for giving me this opportunity on school committee, and to be able to come this year and, share my thoughts and my take on my time at SRS. So I thank you all for that. And that is all I have for tonight.
Any questions for the students?
Gabby, I want to thank you for your time that you've dedicated to us this past year. You've done an excellent, excellent job. Check your school email. I sent you an email the other day. And good luck.
Thank you so much.
I just want to echo those comments and say too how impressive it's been to listen to you guys' reports, how detailed and organized everything has been this year, and how positive it stayed. I try to put myself in those shoes to think of how I would have acted when I was 17 or 18, and I don't know that I would have handled it nearly as well as you have and others have. So kudos to you guys for making the best out of the situation.
Thank you. I appreciate that deeply.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for attending all the meetings, even getting on these virtual meetings. Your opinion matters a lot to obviously the committee, the district, and it really helps us with our decision making. So thank you for making this a priority.
Thank you for showing up. It's not an easy job to be on school committee either, as I've witnessed these past couple of years.
More than a couple of years, Gabby. You've lived it for a long time.
Thank you, Gabby. Having your student voice has been really, definitely such an upgrade to our committee discussions, and I really appreciate it and all the time you put into it.
Thank you.
As Superintendent Gabby, I just want to say thank you so much. And I also want to thank you for your leadership during the COVID pandemic and the remote learning, and how you've really stayed positive and kept the class positive, kept the class informed, and you've really stood out as a student leader. And I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you to you too. It was very nice to have a very strong female leader for not only myself, but for the rest of the student body.
Okay, I'm not going to add anything because I'll end up starting to cry. So if we can move on to the next section. All Right, tonight's educational presentation, there's two things. First up, myself, I'm going to do a brief overview of the superintendent evaluation, and then I'll turn it over to Mr. Presnell, who's going to discuss lunch prices. Oh,
Okay, can you see it?
I can.
okay, so Amy will make sure that this gets out, both the summary as well as the SurveyMonkey results are public documents, as this evaluation has to be a public process. So I'm just going to read through my summary for this evening as part of the presentation. This evening, I am going to share a brief summary of the committee's evaluation of Superintendent Willard for the current school year. Under her leadership, the district has continued to focus instructional alignment with Massachusetts educational framework with targeted curriculum improvements. In addition, the district also rolled out the first year of the one-to-one computer initiative. The year quickly shifted from planned initiatives to managing an unprecedented pandemic. Keeping the education of the students at the forefront, Superintendent Willard has led this district through some ever-changing weeks. I'm pleased to report that Superintendent Willard's overall summative rating was proficient or exemplary, having met the committee's expectations. The committee unanimously agreed that her overall performance has a high impact on student learning in our district. That's just a snapshot of one of the questions, which was the final summative question. And I picked out a few quotes from folks' comments. Jen is a true educational leader. She knows what high quality instruction is and should be. In addition to fostering high expectations with her administrative staff and teaching faculty, Jen works to ensure that resources are available for the staff and students to meet these expectations. The superintendent has guided many discussions to increase the safety and address the ever-changing and varying needs of our students. In regards to fiscal responsibility and student safety, the district commitment to our students and to our towns is evident in every discussion. In the area of instructional leadership, I believe that an overall performance rating of proficient has been earned. Superintendent Willard empowers administrators to prioritize collaboration amongst staff in order to further progress and assess district learning. The superintendent participates in the educator evaluation process through goal development, walkthroughs, and calibration activities with district principals, allowing the goal and vision alignment, as well as the refinement of inclusive teaching practices across the district. While district and individually focused decisions are based on multiple forms of assessment data, I look forward to more alignment and tongue-tied tonight. Cohesive across the grade level assessments to further support large and small scale adjustments to practice. I commend the district and its involvement of stakeholders in varying improvement and action plan processes, but do encourage examining the difference between proficient and exemplary in this area and what additional yet impactful steps could be manageably implemented to increase ownership and engagement across stakeholders. Superintendent Willard puts the interests and the well-being of the students first. She surveyed her staff to ensure she had a boots-on-the-ground understanding of critical needs and issues from the perspective of the teachers. She's flexible and works to make adjustments to benefit all. She and the business manager complement each other and are both very fiscally focused. She and her team recommend a fiscally responsible budget for our communities while addressing the specific needs of the district. You're not afraid to communicate with families, and all communications are very timely. You're very good about getting feedback from all stakeholders before you make a decision. I believe the district has benefited from the leadership Superintendent Willard has brought to the table. I feel that decisions are well thought out, and she always has thoughtful explanations for the questions we have. I do think we are on the long journey of improvement, but think we are on the right road, and thus things will and can improve. The last comment I picked out was, I'm proud that my own children are receiving their educations in the school district. Specifically, I'm proud of both what and how they are learning, and I attribute this to Jen's leadership. So to close, this pandemic has stretched everyone over the last few months, from the superintendent to the teachers to the students and their parents. Everyone has been faced with uncertainty and the unknown. With the students' best interest in mind, Jen continues to move this district forward. She has worked hard with her team on budget planning through several iterations, and now facing the challenges of what learning environment will look like next year. We are all grateful that she is leading our district through these difficult times. Thank you, Mrs. Willard, for another successful evaluation and another successful year with the district, even through these really tough times.
Thank you. And thank you for always being an ear, all of you, during this year, especially through this pandemic, and being patient as things keep changing and fluctuating and moving. And we're in it together. And we couldn't do it without all of you, the students, the parents, staff. It takes, instead of one village, it takes 3 villages in our school community. So thank you for the evaluation.
Anyone have any other comments to add?
Thank you, Jeff, for putting this together.
I would highly recommend going through the total scores. It's a lengthy document, but it really shows how we're all basically in alignment on this.
Have we been provided with that yet? I don't remember seeing it.
I'll make sure Amy gets it out tonight.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, our second educational presentation is on school lunch pricing. So Mr. Presnell, if you would join in.
Mr. Presnell is currently experiencing microphone problems.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. It's been a challenge tonight getting onto this meeting. Thank you for your patience. So I just, I wanted to bring the whole committee up to speed on the need to make a change to our breakfast pricing for all 3 schools. We're not recommending a change to lunch pricing at this time. And there's an action item for you this evening regarding an update for breakfast pricing. We talked about this at the most recent, and maybe it's even a couple of finance subcommittee meetings. The USDA, which runs the school lunch program, has a requirement that they refer to as paid equity. And essentially what that means is that they expect that the meals being charged to paying students, families that pay for their students' meals, is equitable or in a range that's comparable to what USDA reimburses districts for students who receive free meals. Each district is required to, that participates in the program, is required to use the weighted average of meals purchased at different schools at the various pricing that might exist at those schools. The school committee last changed its lunch pricing a couple of years ago. Generally, the meal pricing, because of the paid equity requirement, you would expect it, depending on how high you raise the prices from when you do change them, you would expect to get anywhere from 1 to several years before you have to change that again based on the increases to paid equity that USDA implements. So the current paid equity rate for USDA for lunches is $3. Our weighted average right now is actually $3.12. So we are above the FY20 paid equity. We anticipate that USDA may raise that paid equity number for FY21, but we do not expect it to go over the 312 mark that we're at presently. So I think our recommendation is that we sit tight with what we have for lunch pricing, and we take a look at that again next year. With respect to breakfast pricing, there is no paid equity requirement. However, we have not had an increase to the breakfast pricing, possibly ever. At least no one on staff currently can recall a change to the breakfast pricing. So we're currently at $1 for the grades K through 6, and at the 7 through 12 school, we're at $1.25. Our proposal, and what we're asking you to vote on this evening, would be to increase the price by 50 cents. The food costs associated with the breakfast program are generally coming in the 75 to 85 cent range. As a general rule of thumb, for setting pricing on this institutional meal service, you would double the food cost price to ensure that you're capturing your labor and any other incidental costs that go along with serving meals and serving breakfast to families. Our current, so that would increase our prices to $1.50 and $1.75 based on the current ratio of meals that we serve, breakfast that we serve. We would have a weighted average price of $1.62, and the roughly 80 cent cost for food for breakfast would work out to $1.60. So we'd be right about what our weighted average price is on our weighted average price would be right about double what the food cost is. So we're recommending that 50 cent increase. Would revisit that, probably every other year, as we don't have a requirement under the USDA program. Incidentally, the USDA does reimburse for breakfast for, they'll reimburse for paid meals, but at a much lower rate. They'll also reduce for reduced price meals, and free students who qualify for free breakfast are, the district receives a $2.20 reimbursement. So even by raising our price, we're still under what the USDA is reimbursing for breakfasts. But we feel we would be capturing our actual costs associated with breakfast service by adding that 50 cent increase to both of the current rates.
And that has the support of the finance subcommittee as well.
Yes.
Do you have any questions for Steve?
To the point made in public comment earlier today, would a increase in cost allow us to take a look at the quality of food that we are providing? I know that we've talked about it before. I know that, fresh fruits and vegetables are the most expensive items and that we're really struggling to stay out of the red here. And that low participation is a big challenge of ours. But if there's anything that we can do to add more fresh fruit and vegetable and increase the quality of the food that we are providing our students, I don't know if this price increase can does that at all, or if we can continue to look at that.
Well, I didn't have the opportunity to see the comment. I was struggling to get on the meeting here, but certainly we can press the food service program to incorporate as much in the way of fresh and locally produced fruits and vegetables. They do generally come at a higher cost. The other challenge around the breakfast service is the tight timeline that it often occurs in, where students getting dropped off to school. So it tends to be more, and then has to rush to class. It tends to be more of the grab and go type items. So sometimes doesn't always lend itself to having fresher fruits and vegetables. So, but to the extent that we can increase that, we'll certainly work with the director of the program to incorporate as much of that as we can, still trying to maintain a financial balance there. I can definitely carry that message back.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Steve?
What does a typical, you said that costs about 80 cents. What typically goes into that? Like a Pop-Tart and a milk?
Yes, supposed to be a milk, some type of grain, something. Man, I'm not the expert on speaking to the components, but also fruit is also a component. So it does tend to be a Pop-Tart or some type of nutrition bar, piece of fruit, could be a banana, could be apple slices, and milk is also the other component.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if there's no other questions, we will move on. We don't have any policies this evening. Moving on to action items. Moving on to action items, Superintendent Willard.
Sorry, I was muted. Approve, I'm going to take them a little out of sequence, then they might be listed on the agenda. But A is going to be to move to approve a 50-cent increase in school breakfast prices effective September 1st, 2020. School breakfast prices will be as follows. Woodland School, $1.50. Powder Mill School, $1.50. Southwick Regional School, $1.75, recommended.
So moved.
Second?
Any questions? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Pam?
Yes.
Chelsea?
Yes.
Ted?
Yes.
Jess?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
And Jeff is a yes. Motion passes 7-0-0.
Move to approve the changes to the 2020-2021 Woodland School Handbook, recommended.
So moved.
Second?
Any questions on the handbook changes? Okay.
Chairman Hool, I would like to just let the committee know that the handbook changes do include the increased school lunch prices that were just approved.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions on the handbook changes? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Pam,
Yes.
Chelsea,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
Jess,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
Jeff is yes, so the motion passes 7-0-0.
Move to approve the changes to the 2020-2021 Powder Mill School Handbook recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the Powder Mill handbook? Okay, we'll go with a roll call vote. Pam,
Yes.
Chelsea,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
Jess,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
and Jeff is a yes, and the motion passes 7-0-0.
Move to approve the changes to the 2020-2021 Southwick Regional School Handbook recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the regional school handbook? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Pam,
Yes.
Chelsea,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jess,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
and Jeff is a yes, so the motion passes 7-0-0.
Move to approve the transfer of $189,005 from available fiscal year 2020 unexpended appropriations to the school lunch revolving account for the purpose of eliminating the accumulated deficit in said account. This was recommended by the Finance Subcommittee on 5/27/2020. Recommended.
So moved.
Sorry. I was
Second.
reading it.
Is there a second on there?
Second.
Okay, any questions on this transfer?
Where the fiscal year unexpected appropriations, where is that exactly money coming from?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason we waited to move this item to the committee for action is we wanted to have a good handle on where we would be taking the funding from. Just to, some of you, we may have discussed this at the full committee. It's certainly been discussed at the Finance Subcommittee for quite a while. But we did want to wait till late in the school year to get a good idea of where we would be taking the funding from. The school lunch program has been operating at annual operating deficits for 6 of the last 7 years. Various reasons for that. I won't get into all of those details now. In fact, I'm not able to get into all of those details at this precise moment. But the district was under a last year, the district underwent a administrative program review by DESE School Nutrition. That's something, it's a routine matter. They do it everywhere. It was not in response to any specific issue. It was just our turn for that. So as part of that review, they pointed out that while the district has been covering the deficit, the annual operating deficits to the school lunch program, there is a requirement, a USDA requirement that says that we formally have to actually transfer funds to the school lunch revolving account. So when we became aware that we had to do that, and it was not an insignificant number, The options for how we do that, we needed to take some time and figure that out, whether that would be done all in 1 year or we try to do that over multiple years. Certainly the expectation on the part of DESE, and we've even had the Department of Revenue, Division of Local Services chime in on this, that it should be done in FY20. Based on where we are with expenditures in FY20 as a result of the shutdown, we're extremely confident that from unexpended appropriations throughout the various budgets and programs that we have sufficient funds to cover this transfer to out of the general fund to the school choice revolving fund.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote, starting with Pam,
Yes.
Chelsea,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
Jess,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
and Jeff is yes, so the motion passes 7-0-0.
Move to approve the revocable land use license agreement between the Town of Southwick and the American Legion Southwick Post number 338 Incorporated with the consent of the Southwick Town and Granville Regional School District for a 3-year term commencing on July 1st, 2020 and terminating on June 30th, 2023. Recommended.
Second.
Any questions on this agreement?
This is the same agreement that we have used in the past. Am I correct?
Yes, and it's been reviewed by the Town of Southwick's legal group and our lawyer.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
How did the amounts in the agreement come to be?
Yeah, and that was decided at the town level, correct?
I think Steve's having microphone issues.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess I'd need to see the agreement because
I can pull it up.
which
correspondence.
amounts are you referring to?
The 5,000. I don't have it on my screen now either. The
5,250.
difference.
Can you guys see it now?
50.
Yeah. So
Goes up by 250 a year at the bottom. Now therefore, there it is.
so the
Oh yeah,
Forgive me for-
probably.
So it's the town granting the license. So it's a town-based decision. It's not affecting the district at all.
Yeah, sorry. I just took interest in it because I've never seen the agreement and I always wondered how that worked out. I didn't know if we were at all at the table for.
We're not. It's something worked on between the town and the licensee. But it does have an impact on the property that the district leases from the town. So hence we're drawn into it for that reason.
Mm. Do we end up having to put more, and I'm sure the answer has to be yes, but more hours and work into the property after this event? Like, does this event end up costing us?
No.
Okay.
So the parking extravaganza, as I like to refer to it, the district holds some of that fee. A small percentage of that fee is retained by the district, which helps to offset any costs we might incur for additional time that staff has to clean up after the event,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
after the national, anyways. Right.
All right. I just didn't know any of how that worked. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, if there's no other questions, we will take a roll call vote on that agreement. Let me catch back up there.
Sorry.
All right, Pam,
Yes.
Chelsea,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jess,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Maria,
Yep. Yes.
and Jeff is yes. And the motion passes 7-0-0.
Move to accept the addendum to the agreement between the Southwick Talon Granville Regional School District and the Southwick Talon Granville Education Association Incorporated, dated August 25th, 2019 to August 24th, 2023, to replace the Appendix B table with the attached for the FY20 Appendix B rates. Recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Pam,
Yes.
Chelsea,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
Jess,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
and Jeff is yes. Motion passes 7-0-0.
Be it resolved that the Southwick Talon Granville Regional School Committee hereby extends congratulations to Noelle Summers in recognition of 18 years of excellence as a Director of Special Education. We hereby convey our sincere appreciation for your valuable efforts, dedicated service, and assistance rendered, which has enhanced the image of the Southwick Talon Granville Regional Schools, and a record of these resolutions shall be permanently entered into the minutes of this school district. Recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Do a roll call vote. Pam,
Yes.
Chelsea,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jess,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
and Jeff is yes. Motion passes 7-0-0.
Be it resolved that the Southwick Talon Granville Regional School Committee hereby extends its congratulations to James Ash in recognition of 33 years of teaching excellence. We hereby convey our sincere appreciation for your valuable efforts, dedicated service, and assistance rendered, which has enhanced the image of the Southwick Talon Granville Regional Schools, and a record of these resolutions shall be permanently entered into the minutes of this school district. Recommended.
So moved.
Second.
We'll do a roll call vote. Pam,
Yes.
Chelsea,
Yes.
Ed,
Yes.
Jess,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
and Jeff is yes. Motion passes 7-0-0.
Be it resolved that the Southwick Talon Granville Regional School Committee hereby extends its congratulations to Gabrielle Houle in recognition of dedicated service as student representative to the school committee. We hereby convey our sincere appreciation for your valuable efforts, dedicated service, and assistance rendered, which has enhanced the image of the Southwick Talon Granville Regional Schools, and a record of these resolutions shall be permanently entered into the minutes of this school district. Recommended.
So moved.
Second.
We'll do a roll call vote. Pam,
Yes.
Chelsea,
Yes.
Ted,
Yes.
Jess,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
And Jeff is a yes. Motion passes 700.
Be it resolved that the Southwick Town Granville Regional School Committee hereby extends its congratulations to Amelia Coviello in recognition of dedicated service as student representative to the school committee. We hereby convey our sincere appreciation for your valuable efforts, dedicated service, and assistance rendered, which has enhanced the image of the Southwick Town Granville Regional Schools, and a record of these resolutions shall be permanently entered into the minutes of this school district. Recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Pam,
Yes.
Chelsea,
Yes.
Ted,
yes,
Jess,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
and Jeff is a yes. Motion passes 700.
Be it resolved that the Southwick Town Granville Regional School Committee hereby extends its congratulations to Jessica Boldiga in recognition of 3 years of excellence as a school committee member. We hereby convey our sincere appreciation for your valuable efforts, your dedicated service, and assistance rendered, which has enhanced the image of the Southwick Town Granville Regional Schools, and a record of these resolutions shall be permanently entered into the minutes of this school district. Recommended.
So moved.
Second.
You're going to be missed,
Thank you.
especially on FinCom.
Oh,
Thank you.
indeed.
All right, Pam,
Yes.
Chelsea,
Yes.
Ted,
yes,
Jess,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
and Jeff is a yes. Motion passes 700. Okay, moving on to reports. We have the superintendent report up first.
yeah, I have quite a few little housekeeping and mini things to share, so just bear with me. First bit of news I have is I would like to thank our host, Ted Locke, and the town of Tallinn last night at their annual town meeting. I'm happy to report that both the capital and our operating budget both passed unanimously. As always, I am so grateful that to be the superintendent of these 3 beautiful towns, and driving up to Tallinn last night, as I drove down up 57, I was just reminded of just how beautiful our 3 communities are. I also want to let you know, Student Representative Gabby Houle mentioned it, but July is now officially July 25th. We are going to be doing a little mock setup for some students if they can't attend on the 25th. And Principal Trammell is working out the details now. There'll be an opportunity, there'll be a stage set up with a banner so people can wear their caps and gowns and take a picture, and it'll be on a rotating basis. I had a call with the commissioner this morning, and he is going to be issuing guidelines on the reopening of schools, hopefully mid-September. I also want to let you know
June.
that, mid-June, sorry, for September. Thank you.
Heart attack.
That would be helpful. It feels about that helpful right now. But yes, for the reopening of September in mid-June. The regional schools also doing a Father's Day essay contest that Principal Trammell has sent out. There are some gifts for the winning contest winners. We had an admin meeting this morning, and I have some end of the year news. Powder Mill and Woodland School are going to be holding a virtual field day put together by Sherry Russo, the PE teacher. And during the last week of school, the 15th, 16th, and 17th, they're going to be offering different activities such as talent shows, rock candy, and hopefully putting together some transition videos for the students. Thursday, the 18th of June, they're going to be dropping off devices up at the regional school. And they're also going to be a schedule coming out to families for students to retrieve their belongings. On the 19th, there is going to be a reverse parade for both Woodland and Powder Mill, where parents can drive the kids around and the teachers will be outside waving. So it'll be a reverse parade. They're scheduling it right now about 2 o'clock on Friday. Transportation. forms. We usually mail them out. They are actually online this year, and we can send them out electronically online. It is super important this year, more than any other year, to have families fill out those transportation reports for hearing information at the state level that busing and transportation is going to look different next year. We don't have any details, but to have a very specific count of who will be riding the bus next year is going to be super important. So if you could fill that out, that would be wonderful. More information to come on that. I will let you know that we have participated this year in the Safe Routes to School. I don't have all the details. I hope to share it at the next school committee meeting, but we are bronze award winners this year, both Woodland and Powder Mill School. And one of our students actually won the lawn sign contest from Powder Mill School. And the lawn signs for Safe Routes to School will be all over the state at the sign at the Powder Mill School student, who I'll have the name next time, won. But I wanted to get that out because that's really exciting. This Thursday, there will be a senior slideshow put out for the seniors. And I want to end with just a super, can't thank enough Chief Bishop of the Southwick Police Department. He worked super collaboratively with the senior class advisors on the senior drive around. He far surpassed our expectations of just navigating a parade through town. He made contact with all of our town officials, organized all 3 of our police departments, worked with the fire departments, our DPWs, and select board members. He was instrumental in organizing the event, and he made sure that it ran smoothly. I'd like to just say that I thought one of the nicest things he did was, I loved when the police cars drove by, he made banners for all of the police officers who are graduates of the school district. So that was really neat to see. It was neat to see all the years of graduation. So we just want to thank Chief Bishop, Chief Anderson, Chief Rendells, Chief Deming, and Sergeant Spiegler. Shout out to our Southwick DPW. And I believe I did see Doug, Select Board Member Doug Moglin in a car. I'm not sure, but I think I did. So thank you again to all 3 of our towns who have really come together to support our 2020 graduates. You can feel it when you drive through the town, through the signs, through the banners, all the way up 57. So I would just like to thank the 3 towns for what they've done to make this a special end of the year for our seniors. Thank you.
Questions for the superintendent?
I have a question. When it comes to those online transportation forms, can you just make sure that you get that information out in multiple formats, not just email, maybe like a Connect Ed message as well, and as Facebook and as many different ways as possible?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to the Director of Finance and Operations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a few things to mention. One of them is following up on Superintendent Willard's comments around transportation. The one thing we are hearing out of Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed is that there will likely be some implications for students who ride the bus, seating arrangements, schedule, things like that. So it is critical that we get accurate information on who intends to, who needs bus service for next year. Depending on what the requirements are that are put forth by DESE, it may involve having to look at discontinuing some of the things we've done in the past with respect to servicing specific neighborhoods that are well within the normal boundaries for required transportation service. So it's something we're aware of. We're taking a close look at, waiting for additional guidance, and working with our transportation staff and the Lower Pioneer Valley Educational Collaborative to ensure that we can accommodate whatever the new regulations around transportation are going to be for the upcoming school year. I just wanted to mention that. Yesterday, we submitted our formal application or request for a temporary budget for fiscal year 21 in the event that we're unable to secure an approved budget for the upcoming fiscal year on a local level. We took the first step toward achieving that approval last night in Tallinn, and we're appreciative of the members of the annual town meeting that gave us their support. A couple weeks we'll be at the Southwick annual town meeting, and the following day in Granville. We hope to come out of that with the approval to move forward with the budget that the committee has adopted for next year. That said, the funding for FY21 from the state level, all of the net school spending revenue sources, and regional transportation reimbursement are really unknown at best. And so we do continue to plan and develop contingencies around if there were reductions to the numbers that we're carrying in the operating budget that was adopted by the school committee. So we'll keep you updated and posted on that as we get more information, but it's really hinging around what we see from the House Ways and Means Committee, hopefully sometime in July. We have been back onto the food service topic. Throughout the school shutdown, we have been continuing to serve families who have needs, doing that out of the powder mill location. And our intention right now is to cease that operation at the end of the school year and turn over the responsibility for it to the community food, our community food pantry, which has graciously offered to take that over for us. So we'll be getting information out to families who are participating in our program to inform them that the food pantry will be taking that over for the summer months. I also wanted to mention that I think this is the last thing I have. I was contacted today by our athletic director at the regional school who had received an offer for a donation of exercise equipment from Fitness First. It's something that we'll bring to you for formal action at your next meeting. But I did want to mention that to you. He would like to accept the donation and place it for use for the upcoming school year. We'll have it looked at to verify that the equipment is safe and in good working order prior to any students using it. But I wanted to give you a heads up in the event that there was any concerns over that. I could get back to Mr. Simon. But if not, then we would have him proceed with getting the equipment and have the committee formally accept that at their next meeting.
Any questions for Steve? Okay, moving on to the next section. Subcommittees and liaisons.
Oh, sorry, I had a question. I just was muted. Is anybody talking right now?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so Steve, with regard to the transportation, that issues that you mentioned that may changes that may be made due to guidelines that come from the state regarding number of kids on buses and things like that. If I could just request that any changes like that that are made, if it be known that these are changes that are due to those guidelines that we need to adhere to, rather than to the outsourcing of transportation.
Right. We have no plans for any changes to routes that aren't necessitated by student migration through the grade levels in the schools, and new students coming into the district and students leaving the district. Obviously, we make slight adjustments to the routes every year as a result of that. Aside from those types of changes, we have no plans for changes to the number of routes and the areas that they would be covering and what the service would look like.
Which I think we all know, but I'd just
Right.
like to request that the general communities get that information as well.
Sure. As soon as we get some actual guidance from the state regarding what the requirements are going to be for students on school buses, we would get that information out to them and obviously try to draw that distinction that this has nothing to do with any move toward outsourcing. I guess we are doing some things that in the way of transportation that we're not mandated or obligated to do, have done it for a number of years. And I guess I'm just making the point that in the event that the guidelines or regulations published by the state place certain other burdens on us, some of those things that we've done that we have not been mandated or obligated to do might need to change. Much of that would probably be a committee decision, and we would come to you with that. But I just wanted to make you aware that there is that potential, so you weren't blindsided by this if we came to you in a month or in July with the need to make some modifications.
Right.
And I think what we'd like to do, and we can cover this when with scheduling a transportation meeting. It's unfortunate that Jess won't be engaged in that anymore, but the transportation subcommittee should probably take an active role in whatever these changes might be.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's a good segue into subcommittees and liaisons. Any updates from negotiations? Jen, were you working with them to get something going for Appendix B?
Yes. This is Amy. Yes, we're getting I reached out to SEA and the admin team, and we're gonna start working on the Appendix B stuff as soon as possible.
Finance subcommittee?
Yep, this is Jess. So we went through a handful of things at the last committee meeting. We did discuss the spring coaches stipend and have decided on to pay them an amount there for both the varsity and the JV coaches. I don't know if that's been released yet, Steve.
I believe it's being incorporated into this next payroll.
Okay, great. And then
We've notified Mr. Turmel and the athletic director, who I'm sure have communicated that on to the coaches.
Okay, great. It's a fraction of their normal stipend, but it was based upon some preseason work and some virtual work that they've been doing throughout this. That's how the decision was made. And then we talked about there's some invoices to be paid from the 2019 fiscal year that we're gonna, Steve, is that gonna hit? I don't exactly remember if that hits us or is that just something that you're paying out?
It's the warrant item. It's the two invoices are on the warrant that you guys are approving now.
Okay, perfect.
Yep,
So
they're being paid this week. Yep.
okay. So the amounts are pretty nominal compared to obviously a budget that we passed. One of them was about $800. One of them was about $3,500. The issue was we were either invoiced after the close of the year or the services were not completed until after the close of the year, which is why the delay. And instead of Steve bringing us to these to the committee, onesie, twosie throughout the year, he holds them. And this is the time that we pay those. So that's why if you see anything that looks to be from a little while back, that's why. We did talk about the breakfast, which we already discussed. We also talked about paying off the school lunch balance for the general fund, which we already made an action item on. And again, the decision for that was we have the money now based upon the financial uncertainty and the state recommending that we pay that off. It made sense to do it now versus waiting on the unknown because we don't know what our financial situation will be in the next few years. And then Steve also met with the Southwick FinCom committee, and they are in favor of the budget that will be proposed at the town meeting. And that was everything.
Thank you for your report. LPVEC Board of Governors. Pam, I think you're muted.
Sorry. Okay. Try again. So yes, we met last week. It was a regularly scheduled meeting. The bulk of the meeting centered around changes to their budget, just like all member schools, districts around have had to change ours. So Steve, I believe you received from Anna Bishop today the FY21 preliminary budget overview. And basically what that was just kind of a snapshot of the major changes to the budget for this year, as well as some more detailed financial information. I don't know that anybody really needs the details of all of those numbers, but basically they're looking at a 5.96% increase in their total budget from last year. But the majority of that increase is due to taking on us in transportation. There were other cost savings in other areas, including how taking on us reduces the cost per day per bus rate for all of the other member districts. So if you haven't taken a look at that, I think Steve, you were probably the only one else that received that. And if anybody has any further questions or would like the complete report, let me know and I can share it out with you.
I did see the email come through from Anna this afternoon. I wasn't able to actually get to that and open the attachment yet, but I'll probably jump into that tomorrow.
So the other thing that she said at our meeting this week that you and Jen are probably very familiar with is that we can prepay LPVEC for any services rendered, and sometimes that just helps in the balancing of books. So just I'm sure you guys are aware of that, but she just wanted us to remind all of the school committees that prepaying is an option if that makes transfer of funds easier for anybody.
it can
Very
help us with,
helpful, yes.
yeah, management of our E&D and expenses for next year. So it is something we're aware of and keeping under consideration as a way to help us with the uncertainty of FY21. Thank you.
Yes, I figured that. All set, Jeff.
Okay. LPVEC Board of Directors, we haven't met, but I have received some emails that we're going to be scheduling a virtual meeting towards the end of June. Policy Subcommittee?
We didn't get to meet, so we're meeting next week, and we'll have more updates then.
Okay. Buildings and Grounds, we haven't met since our last meeting. Transportation, as Steve alluded to, as things develop with the state, we'll be calling on that Transportation Subcommittee, which will be down a member. So folks, keep that in mind. If you got some spare time on your hands, we need to add some folks to that subcommittee. I believe ILT has a meeting coming up.
Next Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday or Thursday?
Oh, please tell me it's Tuesday. Hold on.
I'm checking my calendar too. Yep, no, you're right. It's Tuesday the 9th.
Okay.
Am I correct that it's at 3:30?
I'm checking right now. ILT 3:30, that's what I have in my calendar.
We may need to bump up the policy subcommittee meeting that afternoon because we have some members who attend both meetings, and I will be in touch with everybody on the policy sub.
Would a day other than Tuesday be available? It's just a lot. It's a lot of Zoom time. Can we talk about it later, maybe?
Yeah.
All right, any other subcommittees or liaisons want to report out? Okay, moving on to the next section. All right, it's time for our second public comment this evening. Amy, if you would look at the superintendent email.
And I do have a couple of public comments. Let me open this. The first one is from Nicole Burnt, Granby Road, Granville, Mass. I want to take a second to thank all the school nutrition staff that have been making sure our kids get fed through this very trying time. I know that families are certainly grateful to have a bit less to worry about. That said, I am sorry I was unable to attend the previous meetings where the school nutrition program was discussed. There are some major problems with the program, and I'm very concerned to see that the price is most likely going up for families, especially during these difficult financial times. I have so much to say, but I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. The food we are serving our kids is not okay. Mozzarella sticks and baked beans with a cup of mystery fruit out of a can is not a meal our children should be eating on a regular basis. We have an obesity pandemic in this country. We have increased issues with social and emotional behaviors in our classrooms. Nutrition is so key to our children's success. How do we expect them to pay attention, focus, and have control of themselves when they feel poorly or are overstimulated from the sorry excuse for fuel we've put in their body, or they're hungry because they didn't want to eat that stuff? Why are we spending money on prepackaged processed food instead of investing that money in our staff to prepare and cook proper meals? Anyone who runs a household knows that those ready-to-eat foods are far more expensive than raw ingredients. Why not spend less money on better, cleaner food and hours for our dedicated employees and allow them to serve food they are proud of and that in the end would be less likely to wind up in the trash can? Pay them to slice apples or cut up raw carrots and serve with a side of ranch dressing instead of opening a can of mystery fruit, or canned beans that all get dumped in the trash. The employees want to cook. There is so much equipment that sits unused in our school kitchens. It is demoralizing for them to simply be heating and placing junk food on a tray. They want to properly feed our kids. It makes more sense to invest in them and their families instead of food companies and allow them to be proud of the work they are doing. Better fed kids, better paid employees, and money that stays in our community. We are agricultural communities, and we need to be thinking about partnering with local farms and feeding our kids better food and teaching them about where it comes from. There are a plethora of unexplored opportunities. I'm not sure why this is controversial, but feeding quality, well-balanced meals to our kids isn't something that is optional. We need to get creative and resourceful and figure it out, and in a hurry. Our kids face enough challenges without hunger and the effects of poor nutrition being added to the mix. I am more than willing to raise my hand for higher taxes to make our district an example of what can be done. If we raise the prices and continue the terrible quality, participation will only decrease further and the program will only circle the drain quicker. And then there's, she says, please see the attached photos of what we're feeding our children. It's unacceptable. Thank you. I'm unable to share the pictures because I'm using 2 different computers. We have another public comment. Chairman Houle.
Okay.
Michelle Perro, 11 LaQuarrie Drive, Southwick, Mass. I agree with Ms. Stratton. If we are raising lunch prices, we at least should be offering quality and healthy lunches. My sister is the food service director in Wilbraham, and she says there's no reason why we cannot offer salads. Salads are the most popular choices, and we have many students who are vegan or vegetarian. And then Miss Burnt submitted a second public comment. So Nicole Burnt, Granby Road, Granville, Mass, also said, I'd also like to add, after listening to the presentation, I really wish the discussion surrounding the school nutrition program wasn't centered around cost. The program being in the red shouldn't be our main concern. I truly believe taxpayers would be happy to subsidize this program if they knew our kids were being properly fed. Also, it is not true that fresh fruits and veggies are more expensive. Baggies of mushy sliced apples and pre-packed fruit cups are definitely more expensive than a crate load of apples. And that concludes the public comments.
Thank you, Amy, for reading those. Okay, committee discussion. So we have nothing for old business. I'm going to yield the floor for new business to Jess Bolbiga.
Thanks, Jeff. So I just want to thank everyone for being such an amazing group of people. I ran for the position because I wanted to know more about how it all works, and let's just say that has been accomplished, so thank you. But I couldn't be happier with the group of people I was joining and just how patient you were with all my questions. Ted can vouch for that first year, right, Ted?
Oh, yeah. I'm a good teacher, too.
Yes, and I truly appreciate it. It's just amazing how everyone in an elected position, you're not necessarily picking the people for the role, and how diverse of a group we have from perspectives and strengths really makes our committee extremely strong. And the thing that I love most is just how respectful everyone is to one another. Every time anyone asks me about the position, that's probably the first thing I tell them, is that it's just amazing how we all respect each other's opinions, and at the end of the day, we're just trying to serve our students and community the best we can. It's definitely a lean machine, that's for sure, and probably one of the reasons why we don't have significant cuts right now that we have to make. And that's really due to what we're doing, and especially Jen, Steve, and Amy. You guys are about as good as it gets. I wouldn't even be considering leaving this position. I'd just figure out how to make it work if I didn't feel good about who we had. And you guys just are amazing. So thank you. We're so lucky to have you at the helm. And all the work that the subcommittees have done to keep us as lean as possible, as transparent as possible, and as desirable of a district as possible. The list goes on and on there, but it's really pretty amazing considering this is essentially a volunteer position for everyone participating. And Jeff, you've been the chair for the entire time I've been on the committee. I'm not sure how you fit it all in, but thank you. It's just amazing the amount of time you put into this. And although I know it's the right decision for myself and my family, I will truly miss all of you and the work. It's actually a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. And I hope that showed in the work that I did on the committee. But again, I know that I'm leaving our kids and our community in such good hands. So thank you to all of you for making this just such a great experience and for making our district just so great, like Gabby had said earlier. And you know where to find me. So any insurance, finance, or food questions come up, feel free to reach out.
We will.
We will. Thank you very much for past 3 years. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. You will be very much missed.
The Great Gatsby will always have a special place in my heart, Jess.
You're welcome. You'll have my pyramid forever, my iceberg forever sketched in your brain.
Ever.
Oh,
If you
God.
could just email us that would be great. Thank you, Jess.
You're welcome.
Okay, our next June meeting is scheduled the same night as the Southwick Town meeting. So we are going to move our meeting, I believe, to Thursday, June 8th. Just want to make sure everybody is good with that.
All right, say it again, Jeff. What day?
Our second June meeting is going to be the 18th.
Okay.
And lastly, which is not on here, Jen and I talked about some summer meetings.
Yes.
Normally we don't like to hold summer meetings, but in light of everything going on, I think we're going to have less of a meeting, more of an informal meeting. I mean, there'll be a posted meeting, but it'll just be a platform for Jen to kind of give us some updates about what's going on as the district is preparing for the fall. So there'll be more to come on that. If folks are going to be planning on taking any vacation time or time out of the area, which I can't imagine how, but if you could just send Jen and I a note just so we know and can try to plan the days accordingly. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that, Jen.
No, but I really feel that because we're not all together and because it's scattered over the summer, I really feel that getting the message out there, there might be some questions that you have that local community members might have as well. So it's just a good opportunity for, as the information comes to us from the state, I can get it out as quickly as possible. And sometimes it's just too much for a Blackboard Connect or a newsletter. So it just might be just as easy for us to have a conversation.
And that will do it for this evening. Is there anything else that anybody would like to add? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We are not doing executive session this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Pam?
Yes.
Chelsea?
Yes.
Yes.
Jess, for the last time.
Yes, thank you.
John,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
and Jeff is a yes. Have a good evening, folks.